Hey y'all, how's it going? I'm trading the ES futures on a 2000 tick chart with a 21 EMA. So I've got the overnight high up here and the overnight low down here. These are our key levels for the day. So starting off, I started trading at 8 Central Time, which is this area right here. And notice these two legs down here from the beginning. The beginning of it forms the overnight high, and then right at that measured move, we form the overnight low. And so when you are coming off of a measured move like that, you're forming that overnight low. This is a good place to look for a reversal pattern, failed second entry, but we just don't get a very clear one here. Now you can still see that there is a failed second entry there. You can see that first entry short, second entry short, failure. But this is just, it's struggling to get above the EMA. It's going completely sideways at this point. It's not worth taking, in my opinion. I would have wanted to see, ideally we would have just pushed up here further and gotten a two-legged break off the EMA. That would have been a much better looking trade. But here, there's just, unfortunately, nothing really worth taking. It's just, two sideways, struggling to get above the EMA, like I said. But we do get a second leg up there, so that's very typical. Right after we have two legs down, we immediately push into two legs up. And after those two legs up, it's a little bit hard to see here because it's so choppy, but we actually form a small reversal pattern. So I'm not looking at any of these wicks here, just the bodies. We have first entry long, second entry long, failure. Now, once again, there's nothing worth taking here. It's too sideways, too choppy. But it is important to be able to read price action through the chop because it can just help you understand where price is more likely to go next. Like if there was no failed second entry pattern here, it would be less likely to have a couple pushes down. But considering there is a failed second entry here, you can know at this moment here that you're more likely to have stronger pushes down. So even if you might not necessarily take a trade off of it, it's still important to be able to read chop. And that pushes us into this downtrend here. Of course, these highs don't really fit, but these lows do fit very well. We have three bounces right there. You do still kind of have a reaction off that high there, but it's mostly about the lows here. And we have this downtrend, break, attempt at a new low, and then we actually get a pretty strong push up here with this green bar nearly closing on its high. But and I do want to mention, even after this bounce right here, that small bounce, I was looking to be extending this range here. Just let me get that high fixed. I was looking to expand this range, and then after this double bottom, we had a decent push up there, so I just expanded it to this, and this looked very good. This range looked very accurate. That EMA is about center in the range, so I liked it here. And we push up on that double bottom. We have a decent push up here, and we can look, like even if we had pushed up higher, we could straight up look for a failed second entry. And after this push up, we do get a couple legs back. I don't really view this as a failed second entry. But notice we are making a fourth bounce off of this trend line here. So we have this trend line, this bullish trend line forming. It's clearly holding, 1, 2, 3, fourth time right here, making a double bottom, which is a bottoming pattern followed by a higher low. So to me, it just appears like price is not wanting to reach this overnight low level here. It's just wanting to either stay in this range or possibly go higher. And so that's why I like this area here, but you just couldn't get filled really because you see how we have this trend line here. I didn't want to enter that because this was even though it's closing out of it technically, it looked like it was held back by it. So I just wanted a good signal bar. And when we get this here, this is a decent signal bar. It's just it doesn't come back. So that's a no fill. And we push up here. We find resistance at that high, chop around a bit, and then have a spike up here. And then notice how this measured move. It doesn't start from the very low of this push up because even though you start lower here before pushing up, it's really just all contained in this range, and the spike starts from here. And so when we spike up here, we get this two-legged break. This right here is basically a failed second entry. I shouldn't even say basically, it's literally a failed second entry. So uptrend with this two-legged break, you have a failed second entry right here. Now it's right into that overnight high. You already faded back in, so you don't want to enter it like that. But here, notice we push on up, get this higher low. Now, after we push up here, we retest the overnight high. We do push back below the EMA there, but we push right back above, and what's important is this overnight high held. And so this uptrend, after its two-legged break, has its first attempt at a new high with this leg. So uptrend, two-legged break, first attempt higher, break from that first attempt, and then we get that second attempt right here. And I was not wanting to enter under the EMA. And let me explain how this limit order worked. So you see how there's this red bar here. Now there's going to be people going short on this red bar simply because it's a red bar. That's why it's red in the first place. People selling there. Now there's going to be people who try to enter underneath this bar here. It ticks their order, and then they're going to put their stops above this swing right here. Okay, some of them are going to put it above this swing, because it's further back. But this is where a lot of scalpers are going to put their stop if they're going short here. And so we push up here and we hit their stops. So this entry wasn't necessarily about the signal bar getting a tick above. It was about the stops getting hit. So it's important to understand if you're looking to buy, look for where the shorts are getting trapped. It's not all about entering one tick above the signal bar. It's about entering on stops. That's what a trap is. And so anyway, we push on up here. We continue that second leg higher, and as soon as that measured move is met, we just turn back down. So these measured moves are very important, and sometimes they can be confusing to see them, especially when they start kind of in the middle after pushing up a bit. But this was all in this range here. We had a couple legs up, then some chop at the high of that range, and then just really pushed up there. So that's something to look into as well. Now, of course, we zoom out here. This whole thing is one leg on a bigger picture, but we're not going to go that big picture today because, we don't need to. But anyway, so after that measured move is met, this would be a good place to either get 2 legs down to the key entry point. Now, you would want them to be measured since you just met a major measured move. You can expect a reversal from this area. So in order to go long off this key entry point, you would want to have 2 measured legs down. That way it would be like a played out reversal. So you get your 2 attempts to reverse, played out, reversal over. So you just don't get that here. Now you can kind of see, some might say first leg down, break, second leg down. That's not really, this is really just one push down here that's kind of choppy. I don't see 2 clear legs down off the key entry point there. But we just push on out here. Now, what would be good is since we can expect a reversal from this area here, if we had pushed out and made a failed second entry, so a reversal pattern, if we had formed one that's big enough in size, we would actually get our 2 attempts higher from this uptrend. It would literally be uptrend, break, 2 attempts higher, failure, and that would form a failed second entry from this measured move being met. But we just don't get that here. We just plummet on down. We really push on lower here. We start forming this channel, and we overshoot it. Now, overshoots lead to breaks. So at this point, after we bounce off that overnight high, we still could get a couple legs higher and get a short, or possibly 2 legs higher and then a rush below EMA and then a lower high or something. But we just don't get that. We have 1 push up here. And by the way, for anyone who's wondering, I see that there's 2 legs in that, but this is not a good second entry. It's not even off of the EMA. It's not, it's right into the overnight high. It's, right after this overshoot. I would want to see it off of something, but on a bigger picture, you can tell that this is 1 attempt higher there, another attempt higher there. So we get a couple attempts there. Push lower. You can look to extend this. Doesn't really hold well. It just overshoots again. And with this right here, I don't like this short. We can see those 2 legs up. Let me draw this out. So this measured move is not met. Now, you just had an overshoot. Now, overshoots lead to breaks, especially if you have this, you just faded this overnight high level. It's very common to retest after a fade. And considering it's likely to retest and you overshot, you're likely to get a break. In this measured move right here, you could have a second attempt at that measured move. So even though you have 2 legs up there, you have to consider the measured move acts as a magnet. So it's also like uptrend, break, first attempt higher, and you could easily make a push lower and then a second attempt higher and stop you out, and then you'd be more likely to get a short up here anyway. So, this is just not an ideal looking short right here. The chances of it pushing up and breaking are too high. So anyway, we do have a decent push down though. Make this double bottom right here. and now we're having another push up. So we could easily get 2 big legs out, kind of like a 2-legged break from this downtrend. You know, possibly something like, or that didn't copy perfectly. Possibly something like this, 2-legged break, retesting that overnight high, or possibly, you know, pushing out further or whatever. But, you know, we could get something like that soon. So that would kind of be, a big picture failed second entry, great place to look for a short. But, I'm not going to be sticking around for that. I'm done for the day. And anyway, that's going to do it for this video. I hope it helped out in some kind of way, and thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.